Those of you Redditors in happy, healthy, and fulfilling relationships, what were the green flags you noticed about your partner early on in your relationship with them? I grew up in an angry, volatile home. Anything could make the adults snap and go on a rampage. When my then boyfriend, now husband, and I came home to find a major leak in the bedroom ceiling, which had leaked all over the bed and caused significant damage, he just flatly said, "Well, shit," and called the building manager. No screaming, no throwing things, no blaming anyone, just a calm acceptance and then action to rectify the problem. We're going on 16 years married and 20 years together. ETA, well, this blew up. I'm sorry so many people had similar experiences to mine growing up. Can't reply to all the messages, but digital hugs for you all. It can and does get better, but you've got to work on yourself too. Otherwise, you just repeat the patterns which were modeled for you. That really hits home. I'm pretty terrified that the people around me will explode. I'm so glad you found him. I don't have any awards or gold, but here, as a token, gold medal. Edit, thank you for the gold, kind stranger. I didn't expect so much love, but this has truly made my day so much better. I have Crohn's and was always kinda shamey with someone even if it's just for a night. When I start dating her I thought I won the lottery, zero fear of what she would think because she was always so good to me and supportive, even in the bathroom. Ahaha, best girlfriend ever. Reddit, thanks for the award to everyone. Oh, answer or related to the story somehow. I hope you find someone who can really love you for what you are and what you have. Nothing is your fault, so you shouldn't be ashamed for whatever is going on. Be yourself and somebody will love you just the way you are. I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 years, with mild IBS-C symptoms up until July this year. Then I got super sick, tested negative for COVID but had all the symptoms, and it must have just stressed my body out and caused my guts to just flip a switch or something. Now I have severe IBS-D and really awful silent acid reflux. I was tested for CD and UC but negative for both, just a real lovely inflamed colon and no known cause. I wake up every single morning between 3:30 to 4:30 a.m. with severe pain, but despite how early and shitty it is, he wakes up with me and will get me a ginger ale, water, etc. I still cry and have breakdowns because I'm scared he'll leave me or won't find me attractive anymore. I mean, he's seen me spewing out from both ends, and that isn't a pretty sight, but despite my worries he is always there. He's there in the morning when I need him because my stomach is churning up a storm, and he's there in the evening cooking me plain white rice and carrots when I can hardly eat anything. Being in a relationship with a chronic illness is so much more stressful than it was before it got this bad, but finding someone to love you through all that literal shit, that's the thing that keeps me waking up in the morning. Knowing that even though I'm alone in all my stomach pains, I'm not ever actually alone. Because someone will be there holding my hand along the way. And maybe now I'm just rambling. It's 6 a.m. here and I've been up for 4 hours already in the bathroom. Fun, but regardless I'm happy you found someone. Despite our shitty stomachs, we're deserving of love. You're deserving of love, and that goes for anyone reading this. I forget to tell myself that sometimes because it's awful waking up every day feeling like a major inconvenience to everyone, but I'm only human. There's only so much I can do, and there's only so much I can do alone. I can't speak for your boyfriend, but I know that whenever there's something going on with my wife that she thinks I'll find gross, I barely even notice it. Sometimes I tease her if she farts or something, but most of the things she's worried I'll find gross are things that I've had too. So I just treat her gross things the same as I treat mine, which means I'm not bothered at all and just want to help her out with them if possible. I'm sure your boyfriend feels the same. Smile. Before my wife and I were dating, I very quickly noticed that she always invited the loners to join in the conversation. If she noticed someone we knew sitting alone she'd always extended an invitation to join or ask their opinion. Edit, I showed her all the comments when we woke up, she's very touched to hear so much encouragement. Her favorite sub is our ADHD. If you have, go make some friends. If you don't have it, go and see what life is like. The people that are careful enough to do that are the best. Edit. Nice to skillish, thanks y'all. I'm not native English speaker. Interesting to know that caring and careful are different word, but both can be used. Caring is the word. Otherwise, it sounds like she's only extending the invitation because she's careful not to make deranged loner enemies. She apologizes when she thinks she's screwed up, and honestly tries to change. She regularly tells me she loves me exactly as I am. She gets excited for me when I'm excited about something. She tells me when there is an issue so that I can work on it, rather than sulking or going uncommunicative. We laugh together about ridiculous things happening, rather than one of us getting mad about it. She wants us to be equals in our relationship. Which means if things need to be unequal in one way or other, we work on balancing it out. I've never been able to be as completely myself before, as I can be with her. Considering we'd been dating 6 weeks before lockdown came in, and threw caution to the wind and moved in together for the duration, yes, all the lesbian stereotypes, I feel like I've used up all my luck for the foreseeable on this one. Wow, moving together after 6 weeks dating sounds incredibly brave to me, but again, everything is much easier when you are with the right person. Congrats to you too. We did the same, and against all odds, it felt completely natural. 11 years ago. I noticed that people genuinely liked him, even strangers. And he'd smile at babies. My boyfriend doesn't particularly like kids, or want them. It's part of the reason we started dating, because we were on the same page about them. We went to the Keys for our anniversary and we're feeding the tarpon. There was a kid there who was really scared of them, but my boyfriend told him it was okay and showed him how to do it. Made me fall in love with him even more, because even though he doesn't like kids, he is still kind. Kindness is underrated. We'd been dating for about a month. One day out of the blue he turns to me and goes, "I could take apart and clean the drain pipes under your sink if you want." I noticed the sink is a bit slow to empty. Completely unprompted. That's when I knew he's a man who wants to build something with me. Technically he's a man who wants to take things apart with you. Ha ha. As long as he puts them back together and they work better than before, we could disagree on certain topics or values without killing each other. Couldn't be American. I was able to express my emotions and thoughts to him without his getting angry or judgy. He fearlessly lets me have my feelings without trying to change them. We talk them out and it feels so much better afterwards. I feel like I could tell him absolutely anything, so the trust between us is more solid than I've ever had with anyone else. Gah, he's just the best, smiling face with hearts, also hot AF. First date we were making out and I let out a really gross fart slip out on accident. She dead ass looks me in the eye, rips one, and says, "Top that motherfucker." Been married for 13 years. Been together for 13 years, married for 3. In about year 2, we were sleeping and he was big spoon. I had always held in my farts although we were very comfortable around each other. I had a previous terrible relationship where women farting isn't sexy, and while farts aren't sexy, they're not that big a deal. I was in that twilight of really falling asleep and let out the farts I had been holding in. It was loud. My body froze, mortified, because I farted directly onto his crotch. And he just whispered in my ear, "That was warm." I had accidentally farted a few times in front of my boyfriend, but 2 months in, he still hadn't farted in front of me. I brought it up half jokingly as a point of anxiety for me, a sign that he wasn't comfortable with me. Half an hour later, he says, "I have something for you," and then he tooted. We've been together 7 years, and married 4. Now he rips farts constantly, saying appreciate my sulfurous miasma. And I sometimes sigh nostalgically for those early days. Weirdly specific, but my now partner and I were in the kinda friends kinda dating stage when COVID in the US blew up, our university went online, and everything just generally went to shit. I have bipolar and it sent me into a really bad depressive spiral. He dealt with it amazingly, stayed with me when I needed it despite me being a useless lump, respected when I didn't want to talk/do anything, helped me with the gross part of depression, aka lack of showering, etc. It was above and beyond, and I never would have expected that kind of treatment from anyone, let alone someone I had met a month ago. Thankfully on meds now and don't expect/want to face that ever again. Honest question, but my GF is bipolar. What are some of the best ways to support her? She is on meds but I still want to be sure. This is a question for your GF. You're gonna have to ask it multiple times, on good, normal, and bad days. Write down what she tells you. Everyone is different, and what helps your GF may not help someone else. You're looking at a disease that has many different side effects, and not all of those side effects will present consistently through a single day, let alone multiple cycles. Source: have BP2. Early on, she encouraged me to be more like me. Things that other people in my life didn't like about me, or things that my ex told me not to do, she would embrace. Things like taking risks on new hobbies, seeking attention in conversations, my particular humor. She liked these things about me. All of that, and of course that ass, truth edit, was asked a couple times, so I'm posting the answer here in the edit. I came back from the barber one day having been convinced by the gal doing my hair to turn my then small beard into early Elvis style burns. By this time, girl is my wife. I didn't know I was going to pick the burns that day, but wife liked it. She made this account for me when I got into Reddit later that month and added the sexy. Again, embraced me for me, love this woman. This. I had so many girlfriends that tried to change everything about me all the time. When I met my wife, she actually listened to who I was, and what I wanted in my life, and helped me get there, instead of looking for things to fix about me. That completely sealed the deal. I didn't even know a relationship with a woman could be like that. I thought they all just eventually tried to wear you down into being somebody you never wanted to be. My boyfriend's sister always told him he would never find a girlfriend because he liked playing video games and it was childish, and how no woman wants to date a child. Then he started dating me and we actively play video games together. I hate being tickled, but I'm very ticklish. She discovered it early in the relationship, and I asked her once to not tickle me. She has never tickled me again in the following 10 years. Just shows respect. Fellow ticklish person here. This is a huge deal to me. My husband was the same way. I love that he won't tickle me because I asked him never to, just the one time, when we started dating. Being able to discuss anything, even flaws, without them/me getting mad. Communication is the most important thing in a healthy relationship. Love is just as important though, I guess. Communication is amazing. In the first few months of dating my GF, I did/said something my GF didn't like, and instead of being passive-aggressive about it or complaining about me to other people, which was how my family resolved things, she took me aside and explained how she felt and why she felt that way. It was really confronting at the time and really cemented how we communicated openly after that. It's been 20+ years now, so it definitely works for us. On the other hand, she never had people in her family encourage her or believe in her. So when she did well in studies or anything in her personal life, I'd say how proud I was of her for sticking with it, learning, growing. She says that gave her a lot of strength to push through challenges. I know she struggles like any normal person, but a part of me still sees her as being unstoppable, so I find it hard to comprehend her struggling with anything. I completely agree. When my boyfriend and I get upset with each other, we ask, "Are you upset with me?" And we will say yes. This is followed by, "Would you like some space and we can talk about it later? Or would you like to talk now?" And we either talk then, or we give each other space to cool off. Makes things so much easier. However, this will only work if each person is someone who is willing to compromise. He can laugh at himself. Yeah, so do I, but when I do it they say you need to see a therapist and you good bro SMH. When I met my BF's mom for the first time back when we were just friends, she said she's been recovering from depression for 7 years, and I said, well, everyone needs a hobby, and she laughed, and that's when I knew we'd get along. She's really nice and we even text sometimes. Evaluating my needs, something as simple as offering me some of their water after getting it for themselves. The first time we had sex I got my period and didn't realize until we were done, and I went to the bathroom to pee. It wasn't a ton of blood, but I know it was enough to have gotten on him and the sheet. I walked out of the bathroom and he was standing in the doorway of the room and said something like, "Is everything okay? Did you get your period or something?" And then we both smiled big and started cracking up, and he was totally cool and sweet. The next morning he invited me to go sheet shopping with him because he needed new ones anyway and wants me to like the ones he picks. That was about 9 years ago. Greater than needed new ones anyway and wants me to like the ones he picks. Damn, what a power move from him. Clearly it worked. This is heart-meltingly sweet of him. My idiot, Reed husband, just got sad for all the ladies for losing so much blood on monthly basis. LOL, some of the men can be so sweet when it comes to periods and period-related stuff. She didn't try to change me, even the things about me that she wasn't so keen on. She was able to apologize if she said something that upset or annoyed me. She listened to what I had to say, and complimented when she thought it was a good point, or politely and calmly disagreed. She acknowledged my feelings and didn't usually ignore or disparage them, and if she did, she was quick to apologize. She was always happy to hear about the things I did that I was proud of, even if they were objectively stupid or trivial. She laughed at my dumb jokes. Sometimes I can tell she's just humoring me, but it's still very sweet of her to do that. Worth noting that I feel like all these points go both ways. We have had some challenges in our marriage, but we are still going strong into the double-digit years. I've seen the first point brought up a lot here, and it's gotten me thinking. What kind of thing do you consider trying to change someone? It's just that I think we should all try to improve as people, and so I try to help my with this sometimes and appreciate when she tries to help me. For example, she lets the small things bother her and has low self-confidence, so I try to help her with that. I think you have to find the line between helping someone and knowing when to make compromises, and telling them that you don't like what they're doing and trying to control how/when they do something. It'll be different for everyone, so you just have to talk about it. We trusted each other to go out alone and have fun with friends of the opposite sex. No jealousy, just faith that you do the right thing. Source, with her for 14 years and marries for 9. Man, I wish I could trust someone this much. She isn't afraid to have a different opinion than mine, but she always hears me out and she always supports me. Every time I phrase something about myself in a negative way, she reframes it for me in a different light, and more often than not it pulls me out of a dark mood. In my previous relationship I felt awfully critiqued for just being the person who I was, and that critique would often make me feel guilty for not meeting the standards set for me by my so. Now that I've got a partner who celebrates who I am, I realize all along that I've been holding myself back from just doing what makes me happy. When the other ladies at my workplace were airing their complaints about their spouses, and I couldn't think of a single thing to contribute to the conversation. I had the same issue at work. All the guys in the plant were bitching about their wives, and I'm just like, well, when I get home I'm going to make her dinner and then we're going to watch shitty action movies while cuddling on the couch until bedtime. I can't imagine life where I know that my wife makes me miserable and we both know I make her miserable and we don't change anything. It always makes me uncomfortable to listen to other guys, mostly older guys, complain about their wives and how annoying/controlling/whatever they are. Life is crazy and unpredictable, and if someone agrees to share their life with you long term, I think that's beautiful, and you shouldn't go around badmouthing your spouse to other people. Speaking of flags, it's a big red flag when I see somebody do that. I had a co-worker at my last job who always went out of his way to complain about his wife to the rest of us, and it made us super uncomfortable. They accepted when they made mistakes. showed real efforts in trying to improve/grow from their own traumas or baggage, didn't minimize or invalidate my emotions. We could have fun or make a date out of anything, errands, laundry day, cleaning, etc., things that were most important to us really aligned. Politics, lack of religion, that we wanted children, quality over quantity, good food, the environment, live and let live, etc. Always felt excited to see him. I can fall apart with him and feel supported. He doesn't add stress. He loves my body, my face, my personality, everything. He loves even all my insecurities like my wide nose and big belly. We just clicked and it felt peaceful. Greater than showed real efforts in trying to improve/grow from their own traumas or baggage. This one applies to friends as well as partners, I think. If someone has trouble, I get it, everyone has it to different degrees, but growth and trying to improve is super important. My partner never made fun of me or acted condescending when I didn't know something. They were also humble when it came to gaps in their knowledge too. My fiancé is extremely intelligent. He has 2 STEM degrees, a very successful smart person career, his memory is stellar, and he's able to digest new information at lightning speed. I'm intellectually average, and a lifelong heavy reader with an English degree. He's never once made me feel stupid for not knowing or understanding something, which is lovely, but what gets me even more is his absolute comfort with the gaps in his own knowledge. He never pretends to know things he doesn't, and he's not self-conscious about it. His face absolutely lights up every time someone uses an unfamiliar word. He takes such obvious pleasure in learning. It's an admirable trait and was an early sign that he was somebody I wanted to spend a lot of time with. In my experience, the most intelligent and well-read people I know have always been very humble about how much they don't know. Something about getting really informed about a topic makes you realize just how much there is to learn in the world and how much you've barely scratched the surface of it. The guys I've known to fly off the handle at being told they're wrong or are really huffy about not knowing something tend to have ego issues or just aren't as smart as they'd want you to think. He drove 2 hours on his birthday to pick me up when my mom abandoned me in a parking lot, brought me home, and sat with me while my parents and I tried to talk things over. My stepfather started screaming obscenities at me for no real reason. He helped me pack everything I owned in his truck and I moved in that night. After dating for 2 months. It's been 2 years, and we got married last month. Your husband and my husband could swap stories. My husband pulled me out of a horrible situation too. Been married for 6 years now. Congrats on your wedding. Although the answer to "so, did you want to have sex now" was nearly always yes, he was 100% actually prepared to cheerfully go, "Okay, instead let's, friends/date activity." Anytime it wasn't, with absolutely no resentment or guilt or anything, because he just also liked hanging out with me. Like, honest and straightforward propositioning was really refreshing compared to all the weird signaling bullshit a lot of people seem to get mired in, but it only worked because it came bundled with such graceful handling of no S. A lot of people fail at this because sex is their end goal instead of being, you know, one of many fun activities you can do with this person you like, and it's a huge green flag because it's evidence they in fact think of you as a person rather than a relationship object. Doing things with your partner is so much more important than people think. Being able to get along and share at least one common hobby is incredibly important. I know way too many relationships that started because of sex. Those relationships usually ended because of sex as well. My wife and I took a trip to Quebec City for her birthday a few years ago. I underpacked for how cold it was February, booked a very May hotel. A blizzard has us miss our return flight and left us stranded in Montreal super late. So much went wrong, and it's one of my best memories with her so far. Because the whole time I was with her, I wasn't stressed, upset, or anything. We were together. That made every bad turn just another turn. It really reminded me that just being with her and doing things with her is all I want. I have an autistic sister. She's currently 20 with the mental capacity of a 3-year-old. Not everyone knows how to handle that. Well, 4 years ago when my girlfriend met my family, the two immediately became best friends. My girlfriend has always cared so much for my sister and would even sit with her while I wasn't home so my mom could go her life for herself. To this day, my sister smiles and laughs like a madman when she sees my girlfriend. I don't know how much information she can retain, but they've always loved each other, and I think my GF has had a huge impact on her life. Edit, spelling. That's genuinely adorable, props to your girlfriend. She seems to remember people really well. So I wonder if that has an effect, because my girlfriend and sister were in the same kindergarten class, long before I met. Small world. It's the little things, really. Like he will always respond and pay attention to me when I called his name, even if it's for mundane stuff like me wanting to point out there's a snail on the pavement. When I tell my boyfriend "Mkai attention please," he drops everything, within reason, and gives me attention. And he does the exact same to me when he wants attention. Edited because people are lacking critical thinking. I hope you guys will be together for a long time, heart. I'd rather spend time with her doing nothing than doing something with anyone else. This is so underrated. If you want to spend your life with someone, you will have periods of time where you aren't doing anything. It makes life so much less tense when you can still enjoy that time. As demonstrated by 2020's house arrest, that will be almost all the time. Make it work. Before my first marriage, I often thought that maybe I should cancel the wedding. And the marriage didn't work out. I never had that thought going into my second marriage. Not one single time. That's a pretty hardcore green flag, right there. And obviously, potentially a red flag, too, if you're entertaining a fair amount of doubt prior to a wedding. I was engaged once before meeting my spouse. I held off on making any solid wedding plans, made excuses about money, maybe next year. Glad I dodged that bullet. My now husband asked me to marry him in September, and on Halloween the same year we had a beautiful small wedding. I was absolutely thrilled to marry the dude of my dreams. I'm glad I listened to my instincts the first time. Edit, my first award. Obligatory thank you, kind stranger. It is much appreciated. Trust your gut, friends. I confessed about my anxiety disorder and he didn't use it to his advantage or make me feel broken or guilty for it. Edit, this is the first time anything I've posted has blown up like this. Thank you to everyone who left me kind words and shared their own experience, and to the person who gave me my second ever award. I have some pretty serious depression and anxiety stuff, and my wife always supports me when I have episodes. She's never once said get over it, or been frustrated, or pushed me away. She had a crappy day at work once and got in the car super upset and noticed I was having a depressive episode and immediately put her own issues on hold. Thankfully I was able to come up far enough from my own depression to get her to talk through her stuff. We ended up eating takeout in bed and hugging our pets, and we did it together. Having a supportive partner is absolutely the best thing in the world. We have to remember they're human and have bad days too, but then we get to be there for them. D. You just described my girl also. She is special and so is yours. Whenever we see someone bitching about their bringing up shit from the past, we just laugh because we communicate and get past our shit. My boyfriend and I also do this, and it's honestly the greatest feeling.